welcome everybody. We are starting our Chalk Talk, first ever Chalk Talk Twitter stream of our Thanksgiving bet episode. Joined as always by my co-host, resident Packers fan, Michael Burke. We're going to talk a little bit of college today, mostly Thanksgiving bets. We are certainly not going to spend too much time talking about Burke's locks because he went 0-3 again. That brings you to 6-15 on the season, buddy. What's up?
I have no feel right now for NFL games.
Yeah, apparently. What's that? Get that echo out of here. Scoot it away.
Trying.
Sorry, a little technical difficulty. It's our first live episode here, and we're recording it for the channel as well. But yeah, 0-3 last week, man. That Steelers under wasn't even close. You watching that night game?
Yeah, because I took the under and I got absolutely blown up by it.
The under is one of those weird bets. Like when you bet an over, you're losing most of the game, and you only win for like a minute or two. And when you bet an under, you're winning. You're supposed to be winning most of the game, right? I feel like that under was a loser within 10 minutes.
Well, I went off a tip that in the last several Steelers road primetime games that they've played, the under has hit an astronomical amount of times. So, yeah. Like, you know what? Let's go off somebody's expertise because I'm trying to find any way to get on the win column again. And unfortunately, I got blown up by my own thoughts there and didn't come close. And last 2 weeks we're 0-6, just like how we started this run several weeks ago.
Well, hey, to be fair, you told people to fade you from week one.
I did. So if you took that to heart, you guys would be doing very, very well, at least on the NFL side of things.
Yeah, and I'm doing all right in my locks. I think I'm, 12-13-6, something like that. I don't know. I went 2-1 last week, so I was pretty happy about that. Should have trusted my gut. The Colts were one of my biggest picks of the week, both +7 against the Bills and also on the money line. They were like +265. Did not expect Jack Taylor to have 5 touchdowns. His MVP case right now is 25-1, but there's no shot, right?
I mean, if the Colts continue to win and Taylor's going to continue to put up the numbers that he's doing. I mean, five touchdowns against who I felt was the best team in the AFC and the Bills from the get-go. Obviously, I did preach the Titans last episode, but still think the Bills are the favorites to get there at this point in the season. If he continues to put up monster numbers, he's got to be definitely in consideration for MVP. That's for sure.
Yeah, I don't know. I just don't know how it gets there because with the running backs, usually – if they're stuffed for one game, it kind of takes away all their firepower, and they instantly get out of that MVP race. So I'm not betting him, but it's pretty interesting to see how far along he has come in the odds. And I mean, 5 touchdowns, obviously, he got 51 fantasy points, which is a big rarity. I was texting our friend Josh about 50-point fantasy games. You know, he doesn't remember who Doug Martin is.
That's embarrassing.
Muscle hamster.
Pun intended.
Yeah, that's funny. But a couple 50-point games, fantasy games in the last couple of years. Kamara had one last year. Ty Hill had one last year. And now Johnny Taylor this year.
I know several years ago, Jamal Charles went off in a playoff game.
Jamal Charles, Clinton Portis.
I think Mike Vick also had one against the Redskins.
Vick had that Monday night game. Yeah, that was huge. Interesting. But those were our picks last week. I was on the Chiefs last week. I don't know if you bet that one, but that spread was only 2.5. And they ended up winning by a little bit more than 2.5. That was an ugly game, boring start to finish, flew under the total. But I don't know. What do you think about the Chiefs? We were pitching the Chiefs a couple weeks ago. We said if you like them, now's the time to buy. Mahomes was like 50-1 for MVP. The Chiefs were like 20-1 to win the Super Bowl. They're back down, man. They're the favorites to win the AFC again.
Yeah, I still don't. I don't think their offensive line is going to hold up in the playoffs. I'm still not convinced on that. I know a lot of things just swung in their direction. Beating the Cowboys is a big step, getting things back on track in Kansas City. But I'm still not sold on that offensive line. And if you can't protect the quarterback, it's going to be a long, long time coming, especially in the playoffs when you got defenses that are going to be attacking that weakness all game long. You can't really Mahomes is Mahomes. He's going to try and do whatever he can, but without an offensive line that's trustworthy, you're going to see problems. I mean, Micah Parsons, for example, rookie out of Dallas, had another monster game getting to the quarterback. I think he had 2 sacks, forced fumble, 7 hurries, and And Dallas is not known to have an elite defense, which is why that still scares me. Even though he's having a monster year, he's probably going to win Defensive Rookie of the Year the way he's playing. But
Yeah, he's playing well.
I'm still not sold on the Chiefs yet.
All right, I don't know. I think I'm getting there. Their defense is good, and namely, there's like no powerhouse in the AFC. I know the Bills are probably the best team, but I don't know. They haven't really impressed me at all. They've got some big losses, and even in their wins, they just don't look like they can do it. They don't have a running game. It looks like people have stuffed Diggs for the most part, and Josh Allen's playing, well, but he's on and off. He's been a roller coaster. So I just don't. My bet on the Chiefs would be like, who's significantly better than them. I don't think there is a team that's significantly better than them. And if you give me something that's close with Mahomes, who's been to the 2 Super Bowls at this point, and probably should have been to 3, if not for a D Ford offsides call, I'm going to take Mahomes out of the AFC. So that's where we're at right now, even after kind of a lackluster week last week. Let's get into college real quick. So despite, this being the heaviest NFL week of the year, there's still some other bets that we want to play. Talking college, you say you have your lock of the year, my friend. That means you can't lose this. Once you say this as your lock of the year, you have to win this bet, right?
I know where I stand on this, and I have thought about it for a very, very long time. I've followed college football basically throughout this entire season. Every single weekend, I'm tuned in watching games. And there was a line that jumped out to me on Monday, which was yesterday, that made absolutely no sense to me based on what I've seen these 2 teams do over the last several weeks. One I am completely sold on, another I am not convinced on at all. And this is going into probably one of the biggest rivalries in college football upcoming on Saturday with Ohio State and Michigan.
Okay.
The line opened up at -7.5. I jumped on that immediately. Today it's up to 9.5. Anything Ohio State 14 and less, absolutely hammer. I don't think Michigan is even in the right class as Ohio State is right now. Even though the game is in Michigan, Harbaugh has not won against Ohio State in his time as head coach at Michigan. Ohio State's offense is on an absolute warpath right now. They just slaughtered Michigan State. Michigan State beat Michigan a couple weeks ago, heads up, after Michigan just fell apart in the last stretches of the game. Penn State should have beat Michigan, but they laid an egg like they've done in all big games this year so far. But that game was close. But I don't see Ohio State winning this game by less than 2 touchdowns.
Wow.
And
okay.
Getting that line at any point under 14. Put everything you own on it. That is my lock of the year. Wherever that line ends up on Saturday before game time, take Ohio State as long as it's under 14 points.
And what is it right now, you said?
9.5.
9.5. So Berkshire
I got it at
year.
And I got it at 7.5 yesterday. I know people that took it at 8 as it kept creeping up. I think it's just going to get closer and closer to 14. But as long as it's under that number, I feel like your money's in the right spot there.
Lock of the year, he says. So this better hit. If it doesn't, you're in some trouble. This is one of those tuition bets, right? You take your mortgage payment, throw it on there.
This is the 401k bet of the year. That's for sure.
This is the 401k bet. All right. And what's this? This Saturday, right?
Now Saturday at noon. Yep.
Saturday at noon. All right. So get your bets in before that. Luckily, we're going to the casino way before that, so you won't have to endure your bet of the year, winning or losing. We can just win at the table and make it all up anyway.
I hope so.
So hey, the reason that our podcast is going on today is this Thanksgiving Day parlay that we do every year. So the NFL is kind enough to grace us with 3 NFL games on Thanksgiving Day, and Burke and I, for 6 or 7 years at this point, have made our Thanksgiving Day parlay where we take the line on all 3 games and we parlay them together. We've hit this a couple years, so it's already paid for itself, which is awesome. Usually the odds are somewhere between 7-1 and 12-1, depending on what we are betting, right? On dogs or favorites or whatever. Yep. This year it's probably going to be around 7 or 8-1, but we're going to put it together. So we've picked all 3 games. We do not know each other's picks yet. So this is going to be our live hashing out of the Thanksgiving Day parlay. Feel free to place this and ride with us. The 3 games are probably the worst Thanksgiving Day games I can remember.
They are ugly.
What?
They are ugly.
They are ugly. So we have the Bears at the Lions to kick us off.
Absolutely gross.
We have the Raiders at the Cowboys to get us through that afternoon game. And then we have the Bills at the Saints to finish off the nightcap. Just saying, those 6 teams were 0-6 last week. Every one of them lost. And we could be in for a slop fest come Thanksgiving Day. So the lines are, and as of us recording this, Lions +3, Raiders +7, and Saints +5.5. That Saints line has crawled up all the way from 3.5 up to 5.5. The Raiders are +7.5. They opened at 7. Lions opened at +3.5. Now they're +3, so that one got bet down a little bit. Let's start with the first game. Bears at Lions. Jared Goff playing in this game.
Is he playing? Is he playing?
He is expected to play in this game, and apparently only worth half a point because that line moved from 3.5 down to 3. I am, and again, we haven't discussed this, so this is going to be interesting. I am taking the Lions plus the points. Give me Detroit at home +3. They're an awful team, but they have kept these games close enough. The Bears are another awful team. Give me the field goal at home. What say you?
I am not on the same wavelength as you.
God.
I have tried to believe in the Lions. They have been solid against the spread this year. The Bears have not. But I feel like just with
Lions 2 big covers in a row, man.
I'm aware that unfortunately a lot of people are going to be taking the Lions on this. I feel like the Bears is the play here. Andy Dalton's going to be quarterbacking for the Bears. He's had a pretty good track record against the Lions in his career. Lions are not very good against the rush. I feel like David Montgomery's going to get a lot of touches. He's going to have a big game. I've seen this play before.
The
Lions,
Bears just lost to Tyler Huntley, right?
Yes, I'm aware of that. I'm aware of that.
Look, man, here's my pick, and I do this for NBA all the time. In NBA, it's pretty easy. Who's the best player on the court? You ride with them, right? Who's the best player in this game between the Lions and the Bears?
Right now, it's DeAndre Swift.
It's DeAndre Swift, and I have to ride with the team with the best player.
I agree, but I think the Bears defensively set up well to load the box on.
Well, the total's 41.5, right? So they expect a low-scoring game. They expect both teams to be in the teens or 20s. I just can't imagine. Like, DeAndre Swift has 100 yards in 2 straight games, and they're just feeding him like crazy. I don't know that the Bears are capable of scoring 3 times.
They will.
I don't think they could do it.
They will against the Lions. The Lions don't have an elite defense, unfortunately.
No, but it's not awful.
It's not great.
Well, I mean, they just held the Browns to like 1.5 scores, right? And the Browns are better than the Bears.
Browns had Chubb out when they played him.
Who cares? Nobody on Chicago is as good as Nick Chubb.
I know, but when you're not facing them.
Nick Chubb did play.
Not that game.
They played last week.
Maybe he did. I don't know.
Of course he did. He's on your fantasy team.
Yes, I'm trying to figure out No, he didn't play last week. I had to bench him. He came back this week for the first time. He had COVID.
He played.
2 weeks ago with COVID.
Last week.
This past week he did. Yes, he played.
That's what I'm talking about. That's when they played the Lions.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the Bears. I'm sorry.
I'm talking about the Lions. I'm sorry. No. The Lions just held the Browns to like 13 points or something last week, including Nick Chubb.
I guess. You know what? I'm going against I'm trusting the Bears here. This is a gut instinct pick.
We're gonna have to come to an agreement before we hang up here.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. I mean,
all right.
I'd rather just get this game just end in a tie. It would make perfect sense.
Well, then if you like a tie, we take the Lions +3 and we're a winner.
I guess.
I'm just saying, in this like shitstorm of a game, it could come down to a field goal. I would love the 3. I don't know. We'll circle back to this one.
I could be swayed, but my gut said the Bears. I don't know.
What? It's Andy Dalton versus Jared Goff. It's not exactly a primetime QB matchup.
I also read that Goff may not play.
He may not play.
He may not play, which is a big to do, and me thinking the Bears would take this.
Well, he didn't play last week,
Yeah,
and they still almost beat the Browns last week, and he didn't play.
so they didn't.
I don't think Jared Goff is worth points like a Rodgers, of course, or even like you saw Roethlisberger go out a couple weeks ago, and that line moved 1.5 points, and you could convince me it moved 1.5 points either way.
Yeah, I guess. I hate this game so much.
I hate all these games. We're going to come to an agreement on this one, but let's move on to the afternoon.
This one's the worst of the three, though.
And you know what? You and me are going to be watching this game down in your parents' basement, sitting on that couch, waiting for turkey, and we're just going to be like falling asleep watching this snooze fest of a game, aren't we?
What else is new?
We're going to circle back to this one because we have to agree before we hang up. Let's go to the afternoon game. Speaking of teams that are going in the wrong direction, the Raiders plus 7.5 in Dallas. I gave you my Lions pick first. I think I just now, this second, came to a pick on this game. Where are you at?
I'm on the Cowboys here.
All right.
I think it's clear cut. I don't think this game's gonna be very close. Raiders looked very bad against the Bengals last week.
I'm on the boys also.
I think the defense will be able to get pressure on Carr all day long.
Yeah.
It's in Dallas. Dax plays better at home than he does on the road. I think it's going to be a big coming out party for them. Even though Zeke's questionable, I still think 7.
He's going to play though. It's 7.5. Do we care about the hook? No. I don't think I do either. I think that's where I'm at on this game.
I think it's a 10-point game, and the Raiders struggle on the road. Obviously, they've been struggling at home too the last couple weeks. But I like Dallas here. I think this is.
And this line is deflated, right, because of Dallas's poor performance last week. If they had come out and hung with the Chiefs or even lost to them, but if it was like, 31-29 or 28 or something like that, I think this line is closer to 9. Maybe it gets bets up to like 10 by game time. I think we're seeing like an 8.5 by game time here, probably 8. It's already been bet up half a point from 7 to 7.5. I don't know. I like the Cowboys in this spot too. I think it's a smash spot. If it was at 6.5, it's not even a question. We take the boys laying 6.5. So why does that point or half point matter? Do we think it's a one-score game? Probably not. The Raiders are trending in the total wrong direction. They haven't been right in like a month. Especially last week. They were hanging with the Bengals for like a half of that game, and it was tight. And the Bengals just stomped the brakes off them in the second half. They won by almost 20 points. I don't think this Cowboys team, especially at home, especially on Thanksgiving, I don't think the Raiders have what it takes to keep up with the Cowboys. I think it's 7.5 all day here, and we lay it without thinking twice about it.
I'm in agreement 100% with you on this. So that means
all right, we got one. We got one.
Yep. And the way I've been picking games, though, the Raiders win this game outright. So we're still taking.
You're probably right. Maybe we sprinkle a little bit on the Raiders money line.
We are taking the Cowboys in this parlay.
All right. So one of our bets is locked. The Cowboys minus 7.5, minus 7, whatever you get them at. We're taking them. We're locking that one in. Nightcap. Is this the best of the 3 games? Maybe. I mean, it's the best of the worst, right? So yes. Bills at Saints, again, opened at 3.5 in some spots. Most spots opened at 4. Bills getting bet up. Now they're minus 5.5. My pick on this one, Bills all day. Give me the 5.5. The Saints are better than people think they are. All right. The Saints are not an awful team. And last week's showing, that's the reason this game got bet up 2 points, is because of that stink fest against the Eagles last week. But if you discount the first 12, 15 minutes of that game, it was pretty tight. And especially in the fourth quarter, they had a major comeback. And I know I was watching that game pretty closely for fantasy and gambling reasons. But I think if we believe in the Bills at all, that this is the week that they come out and they win by 3 touchdowns. I know the Saints are good in primetime. I know they're good at home. They've been pretty good on Thanksgiving and holiday games too. But again, I'm just leaning on the fact that I believe in the Bills still as one of the best teams in the AFC, if not the best team in the AFC. And I can't make that statement and then take the Saints plus 5.5 against them on Thanksgiving. Josh Allen shows up. This game is like 34-21 Bills.
I'm in a complete agreement. I just don't trust the Saints, especially with their backup quarterback. Simeon hasn't done much since he's taken the helm after Winston got hurt.
Yeah.
I think the Bills are good enough to bottle up Kamara. And obviously Josh Allen.
Well, Kamara was a DNP today, man.
Oh, so he's not playing Thursday.
We don't know. Him and Ingram, both DNPs, so Tony Jones owners fire them up in fantasy. But him and Ingram were both DNP. I don't know what that means if they're just giving him rest or something. But Kamara's still not a definite to play in this game.
Yeah, and even with that too, I still think Josh Allen's probably the best player on the field, regardless of Kamara plays or not. And going with that logic, like we try to discuss it with the Bears and the Lions, I think he's going to have a big game in prime time. It's it's going to be them coming back to fruition and what they were meant to do this year and get to the AFC Championship game again and most likely win it. I think him and Diggs are going to have a big game. I think the defense balls out, get a couple big turnovers. I see this being a 2-score game for sure. I'm on the Bills here, -5.5. Absolutely.
Yeah, I think we're in agreement there. I think it's a 2-score game. And even if it's a backdoor at the end, I think it's a backdoor to like Saints to lose by 6 or 7. So I love that 5.5. I think we should be snagging some of these lines before tomorrow night or definitely before Thursday morning when they start moving even more, if we like them where they're at. You're just not going to talk me into betting Trevor Siemian over Josh Allen on Thanksgiving. Not. Josh Allen's the MVP favorite. As poor as he's played a couple weeks, he's played pretty well a couple weeks too. And I think for some weeks, teams have figured out the Bills. And if you're going to give me the Saints argument in this one, I'll listen to it if and only if you're telling me Sean Payton can scheme his decent defense to take away Allen's pass and make the Bills rely on a rush game, which is totally non-existent from them. But then again, we just saw Jalen Hurts, who I know is a different level of rusher than Josh Allen, but Josh Allen can move around a little bit.
Yep.
You just saw Jalen Hurts in that rush game put up over 200 yards on the Saints defense rushing. So if you can give me Josh Allen, 46 to 60 rushing yards, you get 250 plus through the air. Diggs is a target machine. He hasn't been catching a lot lately, but if he catches 8 balls, goes in the end zone, I don't know, man. I can't see the Saints pulling this one out.
Yeah, and the game is going to be indoors in the Superdome. It shouldn't have any weather issues. Obviously, no weather issues because you're inside, like you would have to deal with if they were playing in Buffalo. But yeah I think it's a coming out party for Diggs and Allen. It's going to be a big day for them. And
I hope so.
Again, you can't trust Siemian versus Allen here. Allen's going to win 10 out of 10 times.
Agreed.
And
all right.
5.5 is it's juicy for the Bills.
And I think that one probably gets to. I mean, especially if Kamara's out, that's going to get up to 6.5. So I'd love it at the 5.5 because again, I could see this being like a 13-point game, and the Saints, scoring some garbage late. So I'd love that 5.5. I think it's great value for us. I liked it obviously more at 4 or 4.5, but hey, what are we going to do? So we're in agreement on the 2 late favorites. We have to come to an agreement on this early game. Are you going to take 3 favorites on Thanksgiving Day? Because I can tell you that's not going to happen. It's not going to happen, man. 3 favorites are not covering on Thanksgiving Day.
You know how many games the Lions have won this year?
I understand. They have won 0 games. Do you know how many games the Bears have won? And may I remind you, last week they lost to Tyler Huntley.
4. They've won 4, I believe.
Yeah, well, I'm sure. They've won more than the Lions. I understand that. But if the Lions are going to win a game, don't you think it's this one? Isn't it all setting up to be this one?
No, because I thought it was going to be the Eagles 3 weeks ago, and I was completely blasted by that pick.
Don't carry over your past mistakes to the present.
I'm aware of that. But I can't trust the Lions. I can trust the Bears a little bit more than the Lions. If Goff doesn't play, which we don't know, this may be one of those like game time decisions. I am on the Bears. If Goff does not play, I am taking the Bears. If Goff plays, I will take the Lions with the points.
Well, we probably can't wait that long, right? We probably have to do this before. Because I don't know when he's going to be announced. He could be a Thursday morning scrub. I don't know when they have to announce these things. Usually it's Sunday at 11. Maybe it's Thursday at 9 or 10.
Yeah, so why can't we just wait until we figure out if Goff's going to play or not?
Well, because I don't care. I like the Lions +3 regardless who their quarterback is. Look, at what number do you take the Lions? 4, 5, 6, 7? Because there's a number somewhere, right? You take them +50. What?
6.
You take them +6?
Yes.
So you think the Bears will win by more than 3 but less than 6?
Yes.
So isn't there a chance that the Lions can win or lose by
Of course, there's a chance, and you're trusting a guy here who's 6-15 on lock so far. So I don't know. I don't know. You know what? Here's what we're gonna do. You've been the better picker for NFL. I will take the Lions in the parlay at +3. We'll call it a day. We'll take the Lions. We'll take the Cowboys, and we'll take the Bills all on the spreads.
All right.
But we will do a gentleman's wager on the side for this game only.
Well, no, I don't want you to be rooting against our parlay. Come on.
It doesn't matter. It's a $1 bet.
Well, I'm trying to think of a way that we both win this somehow. I'm not screwing with the total.
Nobody wins watching these games on Thursday.
I know, but
ugly.
I know, but we're gonna have to watch them anyway. I'm not touching the total on this game, 41.5, because I can see it being.
I would take the over on this. I think a lot of people are going to smash the under. I think the over hits. I think it's just going to be bad football all over the place.
Well, if the over, yeah, I don't know. If the over hits, that means the Lions are scoring, right? And if the Lions are scoring, I don't know, man. I would love. I know I'm not one of those guys that's like, oh, the Lions are a lot better than their record, because they're not. People are saying, oh, they deserve to be 4-4, 4-5. They deserve to be 0-8-1 or whatever they are, right? Or maybe they deserve one win. They're probably one win better than they are. But at the same time, the Bears are so bad. And I'm telling you, man, and maybe this is my recency bias. The Ravens without Lamar are also very bad. And for the Bears to lose that game, like, they were still underdogs after Lamar was ruled out. So Vegas, who usually values these teams pretty well at this point, thought that they were going to be dogs to Tyler Huntley and the Ravens.
Is Khalil Mack playing, or is he out?
That's a good question. I don't know.
Yeah, I didn't look at injury.
I don't know. I mean, I know you said 6 is the number. If it's 3.5 for the Lions, can you bite on the 3.5?
I could bite on the 3.5.
Because we could certainly buy it up to 3.5.
I could bite it on the 3.5.
In a parlay. We can buy it up to 3.5.
Yeah, I'm more comfortable with that.
I'll go there.
3.5, I feel better about than 3.
I'll go 3.5. It's not, little lesson for our listeners today, it's not a positive EV to ever buy off these key numbers. You lose more than you win buying off the key numbers because of the it's limited amount of time that it actually lands on the 3. But if we're comfortable doing it, and since we're parlaying these picks, that's what we're going to do. So we'll buy it up to 3.5. I can get you on board there?
Yeah.
All right. So we're going to buy that up to 3.5. We don't have to buy any points on the other games, right? We're comfortable with where they're at, even though we got a hook on the Cowboys?
I mean, we could give the Cowboys some more points. We get them up to 8 to even it out.
You want to take them up? Oh, my goodness. Well, FanDuel only lets you do halves, so we'd have to do 8.5 or 9.5. I don't know.
I thought it was 7.5.
Well, it is, but FanDuel only gives you alts on the halves.
Oh, so you have to go 8.5, 9.
8.5, 9.5, yeah, whatever.
I'd play with that.
I don't think we should get greedy, man. I think we should keep it at 7.5. I was talking about buying it down to 6.5, but I'll take it at 7.5.
Yeah, we can take it at 7.5.
All right, so we're not buying any points there. Our commissioner Gleason just tuned in on Twitter. He's laughing at you, I think, for wanting to buy these games around. Shout out to Gleason, by the way, our fantasy league commissioner, who beat Michael Burke for the first time of the season in fantasy football this week. That's got to be.
I'm surprised he follows this Twitter account.
I hate to break it to you, but he's just requested to speak. Should I let him in here?
No, he doesn't.
I'm letting him in.
No,
I'm giving him 20 seconds of fame.
No, this'll butcher everything.
Gleason, you're there, my man.
You are a loser. 0-11 team. That is just like so pathetic. How can anyone take you seriously now? Anything you say?
Maybe I shouldn't have let him in here. I don't know. Burke's just taking it. He's shaking his head on the Zoom meeting here.
Most embarrassing loss in league history. That belongs to you.
Burke's just sitting here shaking his head on our Zoom meeting. He doesn't know what to say. He's speechless.
What else can I do? My team stinks too.
Well, no, we had no problem piling on my shit situation. Notice how I wasn't dealing out excuses.
What are you
For those of us tuning into the podcast, our commissioner, I don't know if you can hear him, but he's ripping Burke to shreds here for losing to him, which is fairly justified, I guess, when you lose to an 0-10 team.
I've never seen a fantasy football team be eliminated from playoff contention in 7 weeks. An absolute first that I've ever seen.
You are very much on the bubble right now for playoffs because of the loss to me. You realize that, right?
Bubble's better than being fully eliminated. That's for sure, pal.
It's the same thing.
Nope. No, it's not. Not even close.
All right, children. Well, Gleason, thank you for chiming in there. We wish you were coming in for the holidays so that you could give us some of this in person, but we'll have to wait till Christmas. Hopefully, I beat you between now and then, so I don't have to hear it too. All right. I'm taking him off his speaker duty. That was his 10 seconds of fame.
That was way too much time.
I'm sorry. I had to bring him in. I had to give him his glory for a second. But all right. So back to betting here. I don't know if you can get your head back on straight after that dressing down he just gave you. And he left the Twitter right after that. That's what he came for.
What a clown. What a clown.
All right. So anyways, we're buying the 0.5 point up on Chicago. We are taking the Cowboys as is at the 7.5.
No, Detroit.
Sorry. Yeah. We're buying a 0.5 point up on Detroit. We're taking the boys 7.5, no points there. And we're taking the Bills 5.5, no points needed there. That payout is about 6-1. So we're putting a unit on that. And we're going to have a nice Thanksgiving because of it.
I hope so. I mean,
we're going to be up 5 to 10 units each by Wednesday night.
Listening to him speak for about 25 seconds made me lose my appetite probably for the next 2 days.
I know, it really soured us. I can't believe he left right after that. It was just a mic drop. He came here to roast you, and then he left.
What else do you expect from our commish? He barely does his job as a commissioner of our league, and he shows up. He barely shows up when he has to, and then he just disappears for a while. It's all he does. He's done nothing to expand upon the league the last 7-8 years. It's an absolute embarrassment to call him our commissioner, and I'm glad
he's
that
a figurehead at this point.
Not even that. I don't even know what to call him.
He's more of a tyrant because he won't even give up his duties.
Yeah, he's like just an embarrassment that we just all follow under his terrible regime.
Well, I think these guys have some issues to work out, so we're going to do that off camera. But there's our Thanksgiving Day parlay. It's in the books. You guys should all bet it. Put some units on it before the lines move around. Again, for those listening, Lions plus 3.5. We're buying a 0.5 point. Cowboys minus 7.5. We're not worried about the hook. They win by 14 or more. Bills minus 5.5. That's another 2-score game. Even if it's a 1-score game late, they're going to cover. I imagine this becomes Thursday night at 7 o'clock, and we are 2 legs down, and we are just sweating this Bills game out. It's like 7-0, and Bills don't run away till the fourth quarter, but we get the job done eventually. We're going to hit it. This will be our third hit in 7 years, I think, right?
I haven't done the math on. I know we've
hit 2. I know we've hit 2.
We definitely hit 2. So this would be the third, and I don't know how long we've been doing this, but yeah, it'd be a great hit. And
well, it's definitely paid for itself at this point.
It'd be a great hit, and then good mojo going into probably. Honestly, this is probably my favorite week of the year for watching sports. You got college basketball preseason tournaments all over the place. You got football, NFL trifecta on Thursday. You got college football Friday. You got college football Saturday, all scattered with rivalry games. And then you got your full slate of NFL games on Sunday. And then going to the Monday night game. So a lot of action with the time off from work. So grab the best spot on the couch and sit back, and hopefully you can make some money on these games like we intend to.
Yes, sir. Well, thank you for everybody for tuning in on Twitter. We had about 7 or 8 people actually come in and out, so that was pretty cool. We're going to try to do this live stream more often. And thanks to everybody listening out there. Hey, we're on Spotify now, so we're posting these links on YouTube and also on Spotify. So go subscribe to our podcast channel. We're coming to Apple Music too, I promise, but live on Spotify. We'll try to go live on Twitter. Maybe we'll do some live Twitter stuff on Thanksgiving while we're watching the game. That would be kind of fun because we'll be together for that. So that'll be awesome. Until next time, hope everybody has a good Thanksgiving. Go out there, play some bets. Let's win some money, friends.
Let's make some money.